Good morning, everyone. It was a bit of a schizo move yesterday, huh? It's like, to me, well, two things. The machines are in full force, and then everybody jumps on board one way or another. It's pretty quick. It was pretty wild. You can see this doesn't look so bad in retrospect, but this whip up and down was kind of insane. But I guess not that unusual on Fed Day announcements. So the rally was powerful all the way up to the top of the bearish wide range bar and all the way back down to the bottom of it, leaving a topping tail. It's one of the reasons why, seeing this kind of, not exactly this kind of price action, it may have been this wild many years ago. I don't remember being this wild to have bars like this spiking all the way back up in the next, within the next hour, a half hour, just spiking all the way back down again. It's pretty crazy. But it does communicate aggressive selling on the rally. Even the depth of that retracement, which was positive, well, it's got to stay there to really be positive. And which fell all the way back down again. So now it's gapping up a little bit, not significant, still in the lower third. And I'm guessing it kind of stays in here, waiting maybe for more data tomorrow, maybe hoping for some kind of, miracle type of situation. I don't know. And anyway, this certainly looks like it's going to go lower. The weekly chart has been progressing into, the beginning of the week was questionable to say, will this form a bearish 1, 2, 3? And we looked at different examples. This one, the depth of retracement and close was past 50%. It wasn't in the lower half. But now, we'll see where this ends tomorrow. But if it ends closing near the prior week's low, we have to have a bias that it's going to go down. It's going to follow through next week. That's what happens with a pattern like this. So historically, that's what happens. You get a pattern like that and it attempts to make a turn. It's in an uptrend. It comes down to some support. And, just like that with a wide range bar, it tries to turn and fails. So we'll see tomorrow if this happens. And if it does, then it should come down here, somewhere in here. We're still waiting to see. So now we've got a resistance area up above. This was the area we were looking at for the potential turn, this minor resistance, the 50 MA. And now we got this pivot low down here, which should be violated, but it may hold for the end of the week. And we'll see where things are going to go. It's a little rejection already on that attempt to move higher. So, and that could have set up, you see the void. You see the void that moved down. Now it's been rejected, and now we see, does it hold down here? Does it fall to break? We got to wait to see, does it break this pre-market consolidation? Does it flip back up again? Kind of like going to deal with the hangover from that wild move from yesterday. It needs to consolidate a little bit. SPX, and it's give or take around here. Let me just go back and look at this again. Yeah, near that pivot on the 15-minute chart. Yeah, so around 50-50, give or take in the middle of where those strikes are. If it moves up, it would look to be above 5,100. It's super highly unlikely it's going to get above there. Getting down here seems a bit more likely. And of course, it would have to break yesterday's low. Now it's just flip-flopping around. We know that there's sellers up above, so if we do get some kind of a rally, any number above 5,100, there's enough premium at 5,100 now. So, and QQs, it was the same wild ride, up and down, pretty much the same kind of price action. Maybe different variation of a 1, 2, 3, call it whatever you want. If it closes down here, it's going down. 400, maybe lower. I don't know. We'll just see. That's where the support is. So we'll see what happens. This area down here for now probably is going to contain, well, it'll certainly contain anything that happens today if there's more downside, but I don't know about next week. We'll see. But today, ahead of those numbers, I doubt, highly unlikely it's going to get anywhere past down here, even if it gets down there. Interest rates are up a little bit, no big deal. It's just uptrend, consolidating sideways. It's at this resistance. We expected it to stall there. All the noise, the jiggles with the Fed guy, trying to give a little hope to the market while giving the medicine. But I think after it rallied up, the market realized nothing's changed. So down it went. Just taking a look at the futures. You see there's just nothing going on here this morning, just inside at the bottom of the topping tail bar. The Russell kind of doing a little bit better, but relative to a mess, overlapping bars, whipping back and forth. It's a little deeper into the topping tail bar, but still it's not a pattern that says to, there's no trade. There's nothing here, just sideways mess. It's nothing. The Dow closer to that pivot inside, but the same thing on the weekly. We have a general part of our method or thought process is that when a lower time frame, you look at it and you see tails, this is the future, so it's going to have fewer gaps. When you see gaps and you see a lot of overlapping bars, you go to the higher time frame and compress it. And then should you see a pattern that then gives you some stronger bias, and this says, hey, break down, deep retracement into a pivot. It can't rally. It's holding here, and we've got a trading range. It's a trading range. So can it get back to the top of the trading range? We know that the sellers came in before getting to the top of the trading range yesterday. Does it go back down to the bottom of the trading range? But eventually the same story as to, do we get a red bar at the end of the week, closing near the low, which would support a bias that it's going to go lower next week. Bitcoin broke down. We covered that earlier in the week. It's got room to fall. And it looks like a consolidation day on its way. Goes down to this little support area down here. Gold still not doing anything. Looks like it's going to go lower to the 50. Hasn't been able to rally. So we can just drag that there. When it gets there, we'll look for a reversal pattern. And if it's, typical what we look for, should be a good long entry point on that support and the 50 MA coming together. There's some bottoming tail action. See what happens. Silver, same story. Looks like it's going lower. Oil broken down. The ETFs broke down. That looked like they go higher. So this was, this and the oil related ETFs were looking pretty good. Now they don't. That came down a little hard, but it's going to be able to turn around. And then OIH, which was on the 50, and was a much better setup to go higher. That broke down as oil went down. So that's over. Semiconductors, as you know, broke. Right? Converging MAs, minor resistance. So looking for the same thing. What happens there at the end of the week? Financials, they weakened. So all of the things that were set up as we came into this week that were like, might there be follow through to that strength from the end of last week, following through a bit higher? That's not happening. And so all of these reversals of yesterday's intraday rally all point toward lower prices. And that's what we'll be looking to see if that's what follows through today. Biotech finding a little bit of buyers here. It's kind of messy, but I wish this was on support rather than happening in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing here, but it is built a couple of pivots. So not something to want to jump right in on, but it's the most encouraging thing right now. Regionals, what a mess. And consolidating it here on the weekly chart, it's still a mess, but it was showing relative strength. I don't see anything to do with it. Retailing, that also got rejected. Looks like it's gapping up here today. I don't know what's moving in there. I haven't looked, but look at the pattern. This is more or less what I'm talking about with being at the bottom of a bearish move and then the green bar being ignored and getting a weak close at the end of the week where it closes near the bottom. Then it's like, okay, we see if it breaks next week to go lower. What else? Oh, there's some positives going on here. Let's see if I have them in the list here, which is interesting. So a month or so ago, we were talking here about, hey, look at these charts. Look at this going up. All of this flies in the face of all of these attitude, or not attitude, but confidence that the Fed is going to lower interest rates aggressively. And this was going up. And remember, at the time, oil was going up and this commodity was trending up so bullishly. And so now they break down. And okay, does this inflation implications now going away? Or does it possibly mean that the universal, let's just say, mind that's out there interpreting what's happening is starting to think there's no rate cuts and that there's an outside chance of a rate increase where we still don't have any movement here in this 13-week one way or another. But there's a lot of uncertainty that has come into this market, which we all know. There was 6 rate cuts, then 3, then 2, then maybe 1, then maybe none, and so on. So there's accidents happening. Dan will call a couple of those accidents that things are breaking down in a very nasty way. So institutions getting out of the way pretty quick. We'll see what today brings. All yours, Dan.
Yeah, yesterday afternoon was a day trader's paradise, but a swing trader's avoid. And, just over the years, I've kind of noticed that the typical Fed whips, you really got to wait till 10:30 the day after to kind of get a more confidence in a swing direction. So let's go right to earnings. There's a ton of them, and I already went through a bunch, so if I don't cover one in particular, feel free. I did have a gold alarm go off or short this. gapping near yesterday's low. So hopefully we'll be able to move our stop 30-minute high. We're in this at 212.50, so we have about $1 open gain right now. All right, Carvana. I didn't do any earnings trades yesterday. Carvana, I did have a bullish bias on this one though. Daily, weekly, monthly, and that's getting a monster gap up, dwarfing the expected move implied by the option market, but gap's too excessive for me. But whenever I see an excessive gap, my bias is 30-minute low, sell a 1 DTE call spread, preferably zero, but nothing I can do about that because today's Thursday. Qualcomm, nice gap. Wow, that's a big old gap. I was hoping this would open flat, and then that's a sell setup, but gap's messing it up. Dash getting whacked here. 116. It's kind of in the middle. I mean, you got a gap fill here is all. I have it in the bottom right here. Let's just see what happens. Etsy getting creamed. Online retailer. That's a big old gap. When you got to go to, wow, it's gapped in this prior low. So I have Etsy on another computer. I'll watch it. eBay was down more. It's popping right here, but no pattern. Call spread, maybe. Yeah, definitely. Let's monitor it together. Zulu here, nasty downtrend, daily, weekly. Looks like more pain, but no pattern. F slide. What a disaster on this one, percentage wise. From 13 to 8. Ouch. I don't know what's going on there. AIG would have been a nice 1, 2, 3 swing yesterday, but for earnings, that's make the nice turn at the 50 and the 20 and avoid gapping up here, top of the range, nothing to do. Satish. I see one print up here at 68, so I have it in this middle chart. If that is 68, that would be a 30-minute high idea. It's in a power downtrend, so I would not rush into it. And also a 1 DTE put spread. Wolf, 23 and change. No interest. Really? That's an ugly percent gap. Look, it's even below my weekly. P core 66. I got no bias. Just got to come back to them and see what they do. Sitva. So here's a nice gap. The only thing I wish, the problem is there's no void. So let's say hypothetically this entire island was down here at the 200 and this was a big fluid move down. Then this would be a tier 1 gap trade, gapping over all this. So like I said, so it'd be a put spread idea, but like I said, there's no void for directional. Fresh, another disaster. Craig, I remember you saying bottoming pattern, which it was at the time, of course, but all I'm pointing out is, wow, more disasters. Look at the gap down here. Wow. PRCT, they bought with total confidence into earnings. This more looks like an earnings day. I'm not even sure. It says 735, so maybe I'm not sure if that was earnings or not. I don't know why it's there, but so be it. I'll monitor it for maybe a 1, 2, 3 for tomorrow. CWH, Looks like it's opening flat, no pattern. Look at the volume. We did a beautiful MT live on volume yesterday. So what does this tell me? Well, it tells me they were dumping it into earnings. People didn't want to hold it. That's, we'll come back to it. And is this a buyout? Look, whenever you see dots going sideways pre-market like this, that looks like a buyout. Strange. If it doesn't move a lot at the open, then I would pretty much say yes. Penny stock here over the counter, 50 cents, power downtrend. Looks like a short, actually. Looks horrible. Net, I don't see any prints. We'll come back. I just don't, unless it's liquid, I don't trust it. But if this is gap into 45, 30-minute high idea. MTG, no prints, CWA. Ugly downtrend. If this opens flat, you can short yesterday's low. 123. So that's a deep gap. Well, I don't see any volume. HLF 940. This could be this is a 30-minute high. Kind of a bull flag, curling 2050. So this looks good. Target $10. Stop, stays low if you do 30-minute high. Allstate gapping above yesterday's high, but no great void. ES closing breakout, daily, weekly, monthly, but no prints. Charlie Foxtrot. It's a mess. Looks like it's opening flat. UGI. All right, bearish gap, but had it open flats. This is a bull rectangle. Daily was a 1, 2, 3 on the weekly, but gap's messing it up. Unless it gets negated. Pace C. Gap on this prior low. Let's keep an eye on this for a 1 DTE. I'll put it in the other computer. RLJ, overlapping bars. It's a mess, but yesterday's high would be a, double bottom, but not a great void. Car, rent-a-car company. That's a nice put spread idea with a breakdown failure, gapping over this and day trade long. I'm going to get rid of Satish and put car here. That's a better gapper. Now, say percent wise, it's a huge gap, right? It's a monster. But look where my horizontal line is. It still has room to go, and it's a shock pattern. So it's a shock gap. So if it can hold in the first 30 minutes, I like that. Car gapping down, so that could be a call spread idea. SUM. Has to get over yesterday's high. You can set an alarm if you want. Manpower 680. We'll see how it closes. If it closes at 680, then maybe tomorrow we could buy a breakout. VGR bottoming pattern, a mess. Zulu Golf, mess, just like Zulu. ACLS sell setup. Problem is the gap's too big. I think I said yesterday if it opened flat, short the low. But the gap's too big in terms of my target. But call spread idea also. This trade's like a mess, but choppy uptrend. NSA, it's trying to make the turn on support in the 200. I think I have an alarm at 36. PPC gapping down, topping pattern. Climo weekly, monthly call spread idea. And 30-minute low short. Click was being sold into earnings, looks lower. Bull sandwich on the weekly. Ideally, it would have given us a 1, 2, 3 because, you know, if it is gapping down here to 43, I see one print. Then that's too extended to get on board for a swing. This is a nice pattern if it can break out. I think I have an alarm at 30.50. Yeah, sure do. AXS, double bottom. I have an alarm at 62.40, I'm pretty sure. Percent wise, it's another nasty gapper. OP bottoming pattern shows it at 216. That could be a 30-minute high. I don't see any prints though. This is a sell setup for a day trade. If it opens flat, 30-minute low, potential double bottom. I think I have an alarm at 107. Potential double bottom, higher low, but it has to get over yesterday's high. GTE. Y'all remember when GTE used to be a very liquid telephone stock to trade in the 90s. NVO, it's gapping down, but if it can negate it, then that's a nice long over the high. Let me set an alarm at 130. And I already have it at 130. See how my thinking is always the same. Lynn 425 in the middle of no man's land. I have no idea what that's going to do. Charlie India was up, now down, who knows? Let's set an alarm at 315, 359. Yesterday was I don't know why it gapped down like that. Gapped down like that before earnings. Charlie India, my up alarm just went off. So see, that looks nice. That could be a 5-minute high trade. I don't rush into big gappers, but that ain't bad at all. I'll put that in a window. I just noticed Pay C rallied. I was watching to see if that would happen. So I got Charlie India. Hua up alarm. This thing we're core long, and it went against us there. It was just dead money for a while. Now we're back to profit. STE alarm. I remember that's a Climo. This is a 30-minute high idea and a put spread, but earnings 5.8. So you cannot do it for next week. It would have to be for tomorrow. Apple's after the bell, and that's the strongest FANG pre-market. Southern here, that's a bull rectangle continuation. That looks good. Nice, yeah, I saw this thing down $5 pre-market. Wow, they must have had an earnings call because look at this rip from here to 134.5. But that's a mess. No interest. Papa Hotel.
AVAV.
AVAV.
Here, it's got a dollar spread.
Yeah, I mean, my kind of normal reaction would be 30-minute high. I don't have a bias in the market yet. RD.
Market this stock.
RDN alarm. I think this was Sammy's. Or no, it was one of these earnings ones. I think I said if it can get through here. So RDN, I'm just going to set a higher alarm. I'll do 3065 for now. MC, there you go. There's a short for a day trade, like, 10-minute low or whatever. Problem is, I don't know where to put the stop because of this, big old fall from yesterday's high, but that's bearish, gapping under a green bar. That's bearish. Put it in the window. MC.
Let's see.
Who? All right, so that looks good. RDN alarm again. Not rushing into it, but not bad at all. All right, PC, nah, that's a total mess. All right, our GLD is bouncing here. We entered at 212.50, so we're teetering on break even. ABM alarm. Was this yours, Sam? I was hoping we'd get a 1, 2, 3 breakout daily, weekly. Looks good. Like a dash bottom right. It's not doing it, but it was gapped in the middle of no man's land. Car holding well. Let me check puts. Target low alarm. We're short that from yesterday. My alarm at 156 went off, so we can tighten the stop now. Car spready as can be. 10 cents by 115. And that's the 102. So the spreads are messing that up. But we'll come back to it, maybe do it for next week. All right, target low alarm. Let's move it over one. Let's move it days high. I hate to give up the gains. 157.52. We actually have very light inventory. Sam, your tree I'm watching. And I was contemplating selling a put on it and taking assignment if needed. Let me look at it again. All right, that MCO just made a new low when I was watching. Pacey doing nothing. Charlie India doing nothing. Etsy not bouncing. Yep, they put debit spread on gold. 215, 207. $317. Yeah. We have a small open profit. Let's move it break even. All right, car dash. I would love Dash to just sell off for another 3 or 4 more fluid days to get down to the 200. Yeah, look, if spiders close like this, 100% bearish bias yesterday's low. Gap up, couldn't go. Well, do you remember my bias yesterday, right? I didn't want this big gap, but I said, I want to slop around, have some attempts to move higher and fail, and then after 10:30, short yesterday's low. Rick T. It just looks like dead money to me, unless you get some type of impetus. Sam, I just don't like the market. I'm in the mode of any longs have to be very juicy. And that ain't juicy enough for me. PC getting killed. Yeah, Qualcomm, yep, gap and go, no kidding. All right, Apple after the bill. Remember yesterday, I liked Amazon and I liked Google. Google's still hanging in there. Maybe 30-minute high put spread for tomorrow. Yields rising. Tesla, let me set an alarm at 185.20. Netflix, no pattern at all on the daily, but maybe put spread for tomorrow. And Meta, yeah, none of these. Well, on the daily, Amazon, Google, and Tesla, depending if they close strong. Yeah, we did the same thing, plus, my couple penny thing. So Our stop's 157.52. CBS down again. It was up 40 cents pre-market. Look at that volume yesterday. Wow. That's dumpage. And I'm shocked the puts are not juicier. I checked. Look at wheat as a buy setup. Set an alarm 573. Ah, yeah, I forgot about him. Yeah, you could do it one DTE now. There's, it's been almost 15 minutes. Let me check spreads and juice. 121 or higher. There's massive juice, but spreads are $1 spread. Greg, the 130s, 95 cents. There's a ton of open interest there in volume today. So I think other hedge funds are doing the same thing. You want to short the 130s naked? Or we can do 130, 145 is 80 cents. Just to make it a spread is all.
Yeah, looks good.
Carvana, call spread, right?
Mm-hmm. And a gap up of that size and then another 15 points away.
All right, this was one DTE. I'll make it pretty.